Gary, good to sit down with you this evening to discuss the first 2 months of the campaign. Joint top with Dover Athletic, yet to taste a league defeat and the meanest defence in the division. Would you have taken that return prior to our league opener against Whitehawk?
Yeah, I would say so, Jack. It's always a pleasure to sit down with you as well. But yeah, I mean, look, we've had a positive start. I think if we're being picky, we would say that we'd like to have turned a few of those draws into wins, which I think we were capable on. When you watch the game, I think we give up points late on in one of them that I know, sort of felt like a defeat. But in general, we've been solid, we've been resilient, we've been difficult to play against. I don't think there's a group of players that are content with how they're playing and what they've achieved and what they've returned. They still want more. I still believe it's a squad of players that are sort of got 2 or 3 more levels to get to. I think it's still very much a work in progress, but to be undefeated 11 games in, that's, over a quarter of the season, isn't it? It's a good return, and as I still think there's more to come from us. So it's a good changing room and good place to be at the moment, and that needs to be harnessed and continued.
We've been presented with a very tough opening 11 fixtures, summarised by back-to-back trips to Dulwich Hamlet and Lewis recently. Even though we sit in a very strong position in the table, do you feel like the positive thing is that we haven't properly clicked into gear yet?
Yeah, like I've just stated, I still think there's more to come from this group. I still think we're evolving. I think, when you sign 17 players, new players one summer, and then you return the following summer and you sign 10, 11 new players the following summer, it tells you that you're trying to make sure that you get the identity that I know my teams need to have. And yes, I still think there's players are getting used to me and my management team and what we demand. I think some of the players have been quick to tell me that training is so intense. They've not been used to it in previous clubs, because I do tend to demand that we train how we play. We try and do things that they walk off the pitch with some sweat on their brow. You've got to work on your tactical side, but for sure it's good. There's got to be an intensity and a tempo to the sessions as well, and that we've tried to introduce that as often as we possibly can. But yeah, there's still a couple of gears to go through, Jack, and and that only bodes well for when you find yourself in the sort of position we find ourselves in now, and the players do believe that as well.
You retained a handful of players in the summer, including a strong defensive core that has seen us only concede 7 league goals this term. Do you see any major differences between last season's squad and the one you have at your disposal today?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit more of a resilient nature to it. Even though I've just said that I'd have liked to have turned a few of those draws into wins, there's also an acceptance that we may not have got draws on a couple of occasions in them games as well, especially the Lewis game away. That is one that sort of jumps out at you, but there's been a couple of others that may have got away from us last year that we've shown a different side to us this year. So we tried to make sure we had continuity in the defensive area, and I think that's benefited us in terms of how stingy we've been in terms of goals given up. We obviously changed the goalkeeper because of we wanted a style of change play, and we felt that the goalkeeper that we've got in Sam who's been outstanding since he's come in the building, has got very much that in his identity. We obviously lost George Wynne. That was really disappointing on the management's part. The timing of it as well. I mean, the club in question had the whole summer to really jump on him, and the week before the season, I'm really pleased for George. Let me add, I did say that prior, that I'm so pleased that he made his debut in the week and done extremely well. But we had to make sure we looked to replace him, and I think we've done that in Montel. I think Montel, who can play in both the full-back positions, is a fantastic addition to that back line. And then once you've got Matty Johnson, Tommy Davis, Aaron Pollock, Tom Bender, Jay Porter already in the building, you've got a solid foundation to build from, and that's very, very much it. So we are healthy at the moment, which touch wood is a good thing. That's something we wasn't for a lot of last year. We've done a lot of preventative work with Mark, and Mark's been brilliant. He's been very involved in all our warm-ups and warm-downs and different bits, and giving the players a lot of stuff, recovery stuff to do away from the ground as well. So, we're blessed to have someone like Mark in the building, and I know he took it personally last year on some of the injuries, but let's hope, touch wood, it continues throughout the season.
We've been knocked out in the FA Trophy and FA Cup at the first time of asking. Is that the main disappointment of the season so far, but potentially a positive in the long run, with our priority being the league?
Yeah, you say priority is the league, and I'd have to agree that is the case. I mean, when you set out at the start of the year, you put your, in priority order, the league would always be at the very, very top, and that's, we've managed to start really well on that front. But I'm disappointed with the 2 cup exits, because I've always been a manager at my 2 previous clubs that have known the need and and the responsibility of the change room to bring in some much needed and added finances. That doesn't change because I'm at Billericay. It's still, if we can bring in some finances and money required and money needed, it can only help our calls throughout the season. And to go out as early as we did with 2 Chertsey not so much. I thought Chertsey made a real tough game for us. I thought that we still should have won the game on chances and should have won it late on, but the Bowers game was more likely one of the most disappointing performances we've put together this season. And to go out in that manner sort of still holds with me. Yes, of course, you have to realign your mindset very quickly when you're in the my position, and we've done that. But they still resonate with me because I still, as I say, I wanted to try and get us to the first round proper. I did mention that last summer when I took over, and it's not happened this year. So let's hopefully deliver something of a bigger prize, which obviously doesn't come until game 42, but that's the focus now, to deliver the best we can in our league campaign.